Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections, horse racing selections for Friday the 14th of April. But first, a quick recap on Thursday's performance. Absolute garbage. A few of them travelled okay, but generally wasn't good enough. Magic Saint, I think it raced too prominently, went off too quick, died towards the end. Was it July Flower, I think it was called, the National Flat Horse? Well, I was watching that one, and I don't know if it caused interference several times or whether it was just barged into several times, and then it just its run petered out because it was travelling pretty well. And then it's like I said, its run petered out and came nowhere really. So let's get into Friday sections. Well, I really like the look of these. Two in particular. The third one is an interesting sort, and I'll get to the fourth one in a second. So the first bet comes to a tenner. So what it is, I've had 50 pence each way singles on all the four horses. Therefore, I haven't had a lucky 15. I've actually had an each way Yankee. So I've had 50 pence each way singles, 20 pence each way Yankee, 10 pence each way doubles, and a 20 pence each way fourfold just to make it to a tenner. So the first selection is Tritonic at 20 to 1 in the 220 at Aintree, paying 7 places instead of 4. I was watching out for this horse, possibly running at Cheltenham. Well, it never ran at Cheltenham. I did think it was having a prep race for somewhere when it ran at Kelso. It was mid-division and completely and utterly outpaced all the way round. They went off like the clappers, and then it absolutely flew. And I think it just snuck. I think they were paying out. I think in that race, I think they might have been paying out the first 6 or 7, and we just managed to get the final place of the Sky Bet extra place races. Well, once again, it's actually been stepped up in distance to 2 mile 4. Well, I believe it's ran once over 2 mile 4, and it didn't I don't know what was wrong, but it was its first reappearance of the season. Well, it was its reappearance of the season. So maybe it was just fat as a pig, or just not very tuned up, to be fair. So I think it should stay 2 mile 4. And if you're going to stay it somewhere, you should stay it at Aintree. The way it stayed on over Kelso's 2 mile does indicate it will stay 2 mile. 2 mile 4. And also, it was a regular on the flat at around about 1 mile and 4 towards the end of its flat career. So I do think on this, I say easy course, flat course, it's got every chance of staying 2 mile 4, and I do think it's very well handicapped. 20 to 1's too big anyway. The second selection is Killer Kane. That also at 20 to 1 in the 5 past 4 at Aintree, paying 7 places instead of 4. This horse has got it's got half decent Aintree form. It hasn't run over the big fences, but it came second in a hurdle at Aintree and also ran over the regular chase fences and travelled very well for a very long way. Well, it has been plying its trade over further and running steadily, as in like it's been performing well without pulling up trees. Well, hopefully it's going to pull up trees today, as in Friday, because Colin Tizard used to enjoy a runner in this race. Well, it's now Joe Tizard, and I'm sure he will want to prove his own worth in this kind of race. He has been doing well in quite a lot of the nationals. I'm talking like the smaller nationals. So the yard does seem very good at getting one ready for a long distance. Well, don't get wrong, this is only, I think it's 2 mile 5, but it is going to be quite a test over the large fences. And I do think Killer Kane at 20 to 1 for 7 places is far too big a price. The third selection is St Davy at 22 to 1 in the 440 at Aintree, paying 5 places instead of 3. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if this race it could be too much too soon for it, because it does seem a bit keen, it seems a bit naive, like a bit green. It tanked all the way round at Chepstow and won by ahead. I watched the race and I don't even know how it won, but that was over 2 mile 3. It is crying out for a longer trip. Absolutely crying out for a longer trip. It used to be a point-to-pointer. It's only ran once over the hurdles. The other time it ran under rules was a national flat race at Carlisle, where once again it ran keen, but then still battled on. Well, it did that over hurdles. It ran keen and then battled on and won. And it seems to be really battling over trips that are far too inconvenient for it. Maybe this could be too big a step up in class for it. I don't know, but we're going to find out. John Joe O'Neill should know whether it's capable, and I think minimum it should sneak a place. And once again, 22-1 could be, with two to jump, could be a very big price. And finally for this bet, Advanced Virgo at 28-1 in the 5:15 at Aintree, paying 6 places instead of 4. This horse has ran once for this stable and it won, and it hasn't ran since. You're talking round about a year. So why are they bringing it to Aintree after it hasn't ran for a year? Are they protecting its handicap mark? I don't know. It's very interesting. It won comfortably when it did win, but that was I think it was just under a year. I'm not exactly sure, but it's round about a year anyway. Seems very, very odd that they're bringing it to Aintree without a prep run and only that one win under its belt. So, as I said, are they trying to protect its handicap mark? And it could be absolutely well in, but it does run well fresh. Several times it's ran decent races when it's had pretty long absences. So it's definitely an interesting horse. It's not one to get weighed into. And finally, I'm going to go to Southwell races because there's two very interesting horses. So these are the two horses. So the first selection, bear in mind that this bet I'm showing you now is a 50 pence each way double. Obviously comes to £1, but I've also had £1 each way single on both these horses. So it comes to a fiver, which was £15 for the day. So it's basically £1 each way on Obama Army at 12-1 in the 6 o'clock at Southwell, paying 4 places instead of 3. Jack Shannon has hit the ground running since he's taken over from his dad, the footballer, or ex-footballer, should I say, Mick Shannon. It does seem like he's really trying to prove himself. So whether the number one is the perfect draw for it, I don't know. But hopefully it will have progressed over the winter and, will be better seen as a 3-year-old. So it's a shocking race, excuse me, but it could need the run. I don't know. But as I said, it's a shocking race. And if it's improved over the winter, it's got every chance. And once again, as I said, 4 places at 12-1. I can't ignore it. The second selection is a horse that seems to be running very regular and keeps running very well. And I think this could be its race. It's got Danny Tudhope on board again. And I think he's really going to unlock. I think at some point, Danny Tudhope is going to win on this horse. So £1 each way on How Bizarre at 13-2 in the 7 o'clock at Southwell, paying 5 places instead of 3. If this horse can get an easy lead, I really fancy its chances of being in the first 5 as a minimum. And also, as I said before, it's a 50 pence each way double. So total stake is £15 on the day. The Grand National, I've already chosen 3 horses for the Grand National, as you'll be aware of. I will announce those 3 again, but I am watching. You may think I've gone a bit bonkers, but I do want to have a look because I don't know if you've noticed over the last few months, we really seem to be having AI pushed in our faces, as in it's going to be the future. Well, this might be quite conspiratorial of me, but I want to see what comes first and second in the virtual race. Yeah, and I've gone bonkers. I've gone for 3 horses anyway. I won't announce them. You can go through my videos if you want to, but I will be bringing them out Friday evening. They haven't changed, those 3 horses haven't, but I will be adding 2 more to them. I will also be adding combination forecasts and tricast to small stakes. But I do want to see what happens in the virtual race, which I think should be about half past. In fact, I'm not sure what time it is actually. It should be anyway on ITV races. I know it tipped the 2nd and 3rd last year, but I'm just watching things because I'm seeing AI really, really being pushed in front of us, especially with this Chat GPT. If you've read up on that at all, so yeah, very interesting. So don't get me wrong, the Grand National, it's it's not quite a pin in the paper, but it's like you might as well, to a degree, stick a pin in the paper. So those are the selections for Friday. As I said, Saturday selection should be out about 8 o'clock ish. So the very best of luck. We're 10 minutes in. If you give me a like or a subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Best of luck tomorrow. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.